With Season 4 Part 2 of the show concluding the way that it did, it definitely looked as though a Season 5 is well and truly on the cards. With Joe and Kate in New York looking as though they're going to be keeping the skeletons in their closet after revealing all to each other, and with Joe having a bad track record for being in a relationship as it ties him down, a Season 5 could prove to be interesting. So with that, I thought I'd take a look at all that was out there along with giving my theories and predictions on what I think is going to happen next. So let's get into it. Here is You Season 5 Everything We Know. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The release date. The release date of the show is something that's definitely on many people's minds. In its current state, the show hasn't actually been commissioned for any seasons beyond what we've currently had. However, with it being one of Netflix's flagship shows and having huge historic success, I think it's safe to assume that we will most probably be getting another season of the show. If we bear that in mind, when we then take a look at the gap between Season 3 and Season 4, there was almost a year and a half wait between seasons. I feel as though this is a show that could well take that amount of time again for a new season to be released. You is a show that I feel people really look forward to being released when the release date is announced. So by leaving it just over a year, it will build the appetite back up for the show, especially with there being two parts so close together this time round. I think we would expect to see a new season of the show around the end of 2024. This would allow time for the writing, filming, post-production, and marketing. The creators of the show have already stated in the past that they have many other ideas for the direction that they plan on taking Joe in. So with that in mind, I feel they've already prepared for a renewal and future seasons being in the pipeline. The story. In terms of the story for Season 5 of the show, it's almost like a reset has been done. Joe has got his identity back and he's not the suspect for any of the murders that took place, even the killing of the real Reese Montrose, despite his DNA being present. Kate's name, wealth, and power after taking over the company from her father is something that matters and goes a long way. She's almost morphing into the very thing that she despised in her father, but now that she's got it and is prepared to lean in on it, she's relying on Joe to keep her grounded. Likewise with her to Joe. They've almost agreed to be this twisted couple after revealing all to each other, living a happy life with skeletons buried beneath the both of them. With the setting and environment being in New York where Season 1 of the show was set, and with us hearing that Joe bought a bookstore that was closing down, I feel this could be the one that he used to work in all of those years ago, so I wonder if there will be a cage that gets built beneath it. We know that Joe isn't an individual that handles being committed to somebody well, even though with Kate this time it did feel slightly different, so he may be faithful. During the finale, we were led to believe that Joe said goodbye to the dark side of his mind after facing himself, the previous people that he had killed, and realizing that the only way to save Kate and future people that he met with was to break the cycle and get rid of himself. However, with him surviving and coming clean to Kate about everything, it seems as though something must have changed. When Joe looked out of the window, we saw a reflection of Reese Montrose looking right back at him. To me, this showed us that the dark side of Joe's mind is now back within him. Knowing that he has the resources and connections that come with being married to Kate, it means that he's now able to do what he wants and is able to get away with it, because it can be covered up. I think this also means that Kate could potentially be put at risk. The whole point of Reese being gone from Joe's mind was so that the death that was always apparent in Joe's relationships that came from him would be no more. So with him back, it means that Kate could well be in danger, as his version of loving somebody always results in the individual dying. So how do I think Joe will find new love interests? Well, I believe that the newfound fame that he's got is going to be something that draws attention and garners interest in him. With the reporters saying how he's quite popular in the States and over in the UK, it shows that people could be interested. With Joe also getting national fame, this means that his name could come to the attention of Ellie, who we last heard was in Florida. According to the writers, Joe continued to send Ellie money despite the fact that it wasn't ever shown on screen, not since Season 2. So personally, I find it quite hard to believe that he did when Joe Goldberg was supposed to be killed following what happened with Love. So I feel we could see their two paths cross again. With Joe having an almost endless amount of money in his reach now, money shouldn't be the problem. But with an Ellie that would now be in her late teens and maybe even 20, we'd see an adult that may finally want to get some answers about what happened to her sister Delilah when they were in LA. With this season of the show being a reset to the story and the journey that Joe was on, we're going to see Joe being himself for the first time in a long while. I think we could see him meet his mother and brother. I feel it's time for the show to tackle that part of the story, a part that has impacted Joe greatly but hasn't ever really been addressed in the present day. The possibilities are endless when it comes to the story, so I'm excited to see which direction it takes. I'd love to see some of the characters from the first season return and Ellie or Paco make an appearance too. Joe is apparently untouchable, but I guess we'll see just how untouchable he is. The cast. With regards to the cast, there are two main people that are left alive from Joe's past who could come back to prove problems. Everybody else is either dead or in prison. With Joe going back to his life as Joe Goldberg and going back to the location of the first season, it does make me wonder if things from his past are going to start to come back to him. This could mean that previous characters from season 1 could return. I think we'll obviously see Joe and Kate return as they were together in the season finale, and then it's quite literally left out there for anybody to return. I believe we're going to see Joe's mother be featured in this season, so that will mean we could see his mother returning in the present day. We'll now most likely also see Joe's son Henry now that Joe's back as himself. We could also see Joe's brother make an appearance too. Going back to the idea of past characters returning, the creators of the show did state that they wanted to get Jenna Ortega back as Ellie, but due to scheduling difficulties they weren't able to do so in the most recent season. So if they can align filming calendars, they could most likely get a return from Jenna Ortega. I think it's too soon for Marion to return, especially considering that she escaped with her life during the finale of the most recent season. In being back in New York, there could be a possibility of the shopkeepers that Joe worked with returning, and also Paco. Now slightly older, and maybe Paco's impacted by what happened on the night where Joe killed his mother's abusive partner. With it only really being confirmed that Joe and Kate will be the ones that are returning due to them being in the geographical location, I imagine we're most likely going to get a brand new cast to join them in the new season. Especially seeing as though Joe, despite being back in the city where it all began under his original name, he's going to be living a completely different lifestyle. I'm looking forward to seeing what Season 5 is going to bring. Unfortunately for now, that's all that's known about Season 5 of You. I'm sure more information will be released as time goes on. So, there you have it. You Season 5, everything we know. If you want to see more videos such as Endings Explained, theories and predictions and character breakdowns, then click on the I button, or alternatively you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @BrainPilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What do you think is going to happen next? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.